Hello everyone, this is the IFC architect speaking, and today we are going to do something a little different. Today I'm just going to go over the stable release for BlenderBim. Dion Malt, the main developer, he releases stable releases every now and then, which are considered more stable, but I use the latest releases mainly. But I thought maybe this would be good to go over new tools and how to use them. I don't know how to use all of them, but I'll show you what has changed, and I thought these kind of videos would be nice as like a general update. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so the last stable release was on the 4th of March, 230304, and like Dion says here, it's got 413 new features and fixes. It's got a lot of fixes, and some amazing parametric stuff has happened. So I will demonstrate that shortly. It's our built environment, it's 100% free and open source, etc, etc. It's built by the AC community for the community and get it today. So here we can just click on the BlenderBim website. If I just close all these dudes, you can just click on that website, and then this is the new website. I've spoken about this before in comments, but I don't think a lot of people have seen it. The website looks slightly different. So either you can go to the download page over there, or you can click over here. I know this says 230107. That will be updated to 230304. That's the latest stable version right there. You can see they've nearly got enough funding for this period. So just $70 more and they'll be sorted. So yeah, we can click on this, get the stable version, and then you can see there's Linux, Mac, M1, and Windows. So I use Windows. So I'm going to just click on download for Windows, and then you can see it's downloading the appropriate file, BlenderBim 230304. Okay, anyway, so that's basically how you get it from this page, and then, you know, where we were was the home page, which is quite cool. Just got little pictures demonstrating different stuff. Here's MMP stuff being just showed. There's some structural analysis and a use of the Gantt chart. Here's just like a generic IFC model, pretty big one. And yeah, there we go. And then if you go to download, that's where we were. And then there's also this little installation guide, which is basically the how to install video as well. It does the same thing. And then if we go to community has some descriptions and like how you can report a bug and all that. And then also here are the updates. These are the commits to the code base, so you don't have to go to the GitHub page. Lots of stuff happening here. And then here are tweets that have been put out, which are quite cool as well. And then if you go to documentation, it's just got a full description of different elements, BIM, installation. So if you ever need anything that's written down, it's all here. It's very useful. I mean, I look at this all the time. So yeah, it's very well done, and it's very descriptive, and it's been refined over the last 4 to 5 years. So it's pretty cool. But let's get back onto the update. I'm going to go back to the page here. This is Dion's bunny. It looks like it's an AI generated version of his bunny. He always has it in the BlenderBim updates, which is very cute. And yeah, let's get on to the details. Improved drawing and modeling, allowing parametric walls to take into account axis offsets, and it's easier to extend beams to walls or walls to roofs. Insulation batting hatches are now generated, and you can customize the width. Drawing text is now more customization over their CSS styles. Okay, so you can just see here, one thing that immediately stands out, I'm sure to everyone, is that the hatch pattern is joined. So previously it used to have a line where the wall join was, and that has changed. Hatch patterns are now joined continuously, and they look pretty good. The next thing is these doors. The doors and windows are now parametric, so they are adjustable inside of BlenderBim, and you don't have to create a new door type or window type now anymore outside. You can just create a new one in the file, in the project. The next thing is the insulation line. So you can see there's insulation along here. That has been changed how it works. It's been revamped and it works really well now. And then you can just adjust the the thickness, and I'm going to go all through all of these in a second. And then the door and window tags now work, or rather the door tags and the rectangle tags. So they're working really well, and then everything else is as good as it was, basically. So we can go through those very quickly. I've just got Blender open here. I'm going to press 7, and I'm just going to create a very simple file. I'm just going to create a project. These are my details if you want to follow along. And I'm just going to say thankyou, and let me turn on my screencast keys if people want to follow along. This is not a tutorial, this is just a showcase. And then we're just going to go to the wall type, and I'm just going to make a very simple house shape. Okay, and then we want to demonstrate a window, a door, a wall. Okay, so we're going to go to the doors, and you see this door type 1. So you can add door type 1. You can say Shift A, and we can't see it because we haven't cut. So I'm just going to go BIM documentation and add a my story plan and activate that, and then select the object data properties and then change this to, I think we can leave this as like 8, and then turn off my snaps for a second and center it, and there you can see the door. So we can now click on the door, and now the door has a door modifier. It's been there, but it's been a bit unstable, but now it's really good. So we can come here to modify properties, and you can see there's quite a few cool new things. And we're just going to go to IFC door, and we're going to click add here, and there you can see it changed the geometry of the door. At the moment, it doesn't preserve the IFC material, so it just turns into a default gray door. But this is amazing. It's like an assembly of different parts, and look at all the parameters we can edit now. So you can just say enable editing door, and I work with doors that are typically 2.1 high, and we normally use thinner doors, so about 800, even 700 sometimes. And you can say finish editing, and you can see it's automatically adjusted. So if we go to activate the view, I'm not going to create the drawing just yet, but we'll show it in a second. Okay, cool. The next thing I'm going to do is the window. So it's the same situation. We can go to the window type, and I'm not going to use window type 1 and edit it. I'm actually going to use the launch type manager to create my own window. So I'm going to click that, and then here you can see we can create a window that is a window. And we can say add type, and you can see it says type X. So we just click this little guy to select the type. We can go here, go to the object properties. I'm going to change this to window type 02. Get rid of everything we don't need. That's literally the only thing you need to adjust. And then I'm going to come in here, and then we can edit it once it's been added. Select window type 2, Shift A. It's a bit out there at the moment, but we can go to our modifier properties, and then not an IFC door, but an IFC window. We have all of the same stuff. So there you can see the window. We're just going to adjust it so it lines up with the lintel heights of the door. Shift G to regenerate the position. And then maybe we want this to be a window that is as tall as the door. So to 100. And overall width, I'm going to make that, let's make it 400. And we finish editing, and then it's been adjusted. And I'm just going to say GZ and Shift G. And there you go. Looks quite cool. So I'm going to press 0. And then I think this might cause an issue, so I'm just going to bring this into the wall. There we go. Okay. And then the next thing was the walls. Okay, so the walls here, they don't have a material by default. So we can go to Object Properties, IFC Object Metadata, as you know. We go to IFC Object Material. You can see it's an unnamed material. It's the layer set usage, material layer set usage. So here where it says layer set, I'm just going to type brick, which is one of the standard materials. And then you can see, since these guys are all the same wall, they share material layer set. So they're all brick now. What was that last thing? Oh yes, the door and window tags. And also the sizing of the text has changed how you do text sizes, which is quite cool. So I'm going to go here. Let's go on the outside. And we're going to go to BIM documentation, and we're going to say text. And I'm just going to bring it down. And then I'm not gonna, well, yeah, I'm not gonna use the relating product, but I'm just gonna edit it here, and I'm just gonna call this door1. Yeah. I'm gonna say new /door1. And then here, I'm just gonna call this center. And to add a door tag or a rectangle tag, you just need to go to object property sets, add an EP set annotation, and we're going to click add, and then you edit it. And then in classes, this is for the size of the text. It's defaulted to regular. I'm just going to type in regular, so you know that that won't change. And then the symbol is the door tag or the rectangle tag. So I'm going to type in door-tag, and then we click that. And then I'm going to add a center text thing here for the room. And I'm just going to call this room. And then also going to center that. And then we're going to add the annotation. And I'm going to change the class. And the class is going to be, there's different sizes. So there's small, regular, large, header, and title. So title is the biggest. Everything needs to be lowercase when you type it out. So title, and then we click that. And then we can say activate view, and we can say create drawing. And you can see there's the drawing. And I've completely forgotten how to do this properly. So I'm going to go back to Blender, and we're going to click on this, and I'm going to say edit text, and I forgot that it's \n, and then we say edit text, activate view, and then create drawing. And there we go. So we have a working room, we've got a working tag, the bricks are integrated, and then the door and window adjusted, the 2D adjusted according to the parametric size. So that's quite cool. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the updates. That's basically everything that's changed. Oh, insulation, I suppose. Yeah. So now insulation or batting has its own operator. So we can click there, and you can see it by default it's quite large. So if we go here, there we go, and then we can click on the edge here and bring it there. And if we print that, it's huge, but we can adjust it obviously. We select this thing. I have the object property sets, and then we want to add this BlenderBim batting p set. So we just add it, and then we edit it, and then we have a thickness value here. So I oversees the insulation thickness is quite a lot. I'm just going to type in 300, and we're going to take that, and you can see the preview changes. So I'm going to say GX and snap it against the wall, and then GX that way, minus 150, so it's inside the wall. And then we're going to click activate view and create drawing. And you can see it's adjusted on the side there. It's quite cool. It's very useful. Okay, cool. If we go back to the updates, the BIM tool is now generic for any element. So you can create a wall that has horizontal elements. You can create a floor that has vertical elements. It doesn't limit you. It's very cool. I've used it a few times to make roofs that are actually walls and that kind of thing. But it's very cool. Things are very cool. It's not limited to walls or parametric profiles, not limited to structural elements. This is decoupling of geometry and IFC class is critical for flexible modeling. It is. Objects with same materials have their drawn hatches merged. Yes, this merging of the hatch, which just adds a different level of quality to these drawings. Sites now have a default thick cut line. Okay, yes, I could show that. And fill regions now auto dissolve. Yes. So for people who don't use it a lot, but I used a lot of filled regions, and now they typically triangulate when you save the project. So now they auto dissolve before they print. So it looks very good. Like if we go here, we can do a fill region. So we go fill area of, and let's do this. And then if you say EX, EY, and then we click there and we say, or here, and we say EY, EX, and you can see there's lines in between here. And we can say GY, or do something like that. There's lines in between there, right? So if we go to this object properties, attributes, and we edit that, and we change, make sure we're selecting the right thing, sorry, fill region, and we change the object type to concrete, which is one of the default predefined types, and we save it. Even though there's lines there, we can click activate view, and we can say create drawing, and there it's turned it into like a continuous concrete thing. Again, it's just like the hash pattern being continuous. It just looks very good, and it's professional. And then the other thing was the IFC geographic elements get a thick line when they're cut. So we can do that very simply. I'm just going to make one here. So select box, shift A, I'm going to make a mesh, snap it there, and I'm just going to classify this guy. Object properties, IFC class, elements, geographic elements, it's going to be terrain, that's all good. And then is he being cut by this thing? I'm going to say GZ, so he's up there. We go there and we say create drawing. So you can see he's got quite a nice thick line. So if you have like a landscape in section or something like that, this is very nice. I was adding this line and making it myself earlier. So this is just like a level of automation that's amazing. Okay, let's go back to our release notes. Sorry this is taking so long. I thought it'd just be nice to do a detailed dive through this. Fill region now auto-dissolved, a significant step towards readability and compliance of professional drafting standards for sure. Drawings can now be duplicated. Yes, drawings are now loaded on demand instead of all at once at project load. 2D annotations can now be superimposed on top of 3D body geometry in drawings, such as for window opening direction symbols. So let's start with drawings can now be duplicated. Here where it says my story plan, there's this little button, it says duplicate, and should duplicate annotations, yes or no. You say okay. And now we have another plan that's exactly the same, except now I can take this plan and I can maybe say, go to the object properties and be like, no, that I want a 1 to 50 version of this plan. So we say create drawing, and now we have a nice 1 to 50 as opposed to the 1 to 100, and it's better, but we still have access to both plans. This is like a very cool thing that BlenderBim did not have before. And then drawings are now loaded on demand instead of all at once. I can't really show that. But it's, so there's 2 drawings right now. There's these 1, 2. So you can see there, if we go here, I'm just going to collapse these elements. So here in views, there's one story and there's the one plan and the other one. So if you have, like instance for myself, a project with like up to 30 or 50 drawings in it, instead of loading all of them when you open it, it will only load one when you activate the drawing, which is much more effective because it saves space and time. Like things open much quicker and then things are on demand instead of accessing everything all the time. Okay, yeah, so this can just be, you can draw 2D stuff onto 3D stuff, which is always useful in elevations. Parametric doors and windows. I already covered that, yeah. You can now generate parametric doors and windows rather than relying on libraries created from others. This lets you add simple and common door and window types to your model. Door supports for double and single doors and parameters for door panel and lining dimensions. Windows also support single panes, horizontal and vertical panes. So all these configurations. This means you can easily customize window openings in bulk for window occurrences, yeah. So we can go back and we can check that out. So I'm just going to turn off viewport annotations, and then maybe we want this guy. We go back to the modifier. It's very easy. We go back to the door. We edit it. We want it to be a double door, single swing. And now we want it to be, I don't know, a meter. And then we say finish editing. The Boolean updates automatically. And then this guy, we're going to go to window. And you can see there's a double door there now. We're going to edit it. We're going to change the window type to triple panel on the bottom. It doesn't look very good with this one. Triple panel horizontal. There we go. So there's 2 at the bottom and 1 at the top. There's different configurations you can go and check out. And then if you go and print it in plan, it updates. It's amazing. Generate roofs and rooms. You can now generate hipped roofs automatically from a footprint thanks to the integration of battle-tested BPy polyscale library. Conversation that's been happening for a while, and it's been implemented. And then in one click, you can easily generate spaces from room bounding objects like walls. You can also now add fixed spaces types and manage them in the type manager, such as parking spaces. Yeah. So these work differently. So let's do the rooms first. You need to start with an object. So I'm just going to in normal selection, I'm going to add a cube, and I'm just going to make sure that he is correct. And I'm just going to say set origin to 3D cursor, and we're going to snap him to the edge here. And then we're going to classify him as a room, basically, as a space. So we're going to go to object properties, metadata, class, element. We're going to go to spatial element. He's going to be a space. He's internal. And then we're going to say assign class. So now he's a space, and we can use this tool properly. So then we need to make sure we're in the BIM tool. And then we need to make sure that our 3D cursor is inside of the bounding space. And then we just hit Shift G. And you can see our guy has shifted a little bit, but he is the correct size. So I thought I could avoid that by moving him properly. So I'm going to say GX and GY. And you can see now he is occupying, he's a room that occupies that space, which is very cool. And you can get more complicated shapes, but this is for demonstration. If I go to documentation, I go to plan, I can grab this and I can adjust it, say GY, so it's smaller, and then just Shift T, make these guys smaller. And then you can see the room is too big now, so we can click on the room and we can just say Shift G again, and look, it adjusts automatically, and it does this with much more complicated shapes. It is a bit finicky at the moment, so use at your own peril, but flippin' amazing, way better than having to manually model the rooms. Like, it's so silly. Anyway, so that's incredible. The parametricism is out of the world. So the next thing is the roof. So we press 7. I would suggest doing it in the opposite direction instead of classifying it first. You just make the shape. So I'm going to select a normal, this normal selection tool. I'm going to make a plane, and I'm going to say GZ so that it's at the top. Press 7, and I'm going to tab into it. I'm just going to make it roughly the size of the room. And then I'm going to bring it out by 300 in every direction. GY 300, GX 300, and GX minus 300. Okay, cool. So basically we have a roof footprint at the right height. And then what we're going to do is we're going to press F3, which allows you to do commands. And we're going to say generate. And here you can see it says generate hipped roof. So we can just click that. And look, it made a hipped roof. And then I would say just make sure that it's classified afterwards. So it's an element. It's going to be a roof. There it is. And it's going to be a hip roof. So I'm going to say assign class. There's no UI for it. That's why we used F3 to type in the command. So you can't really adjust the angles that I'm aware of yet, but you can just totally edit the generated geometry. So if we go north and we make a south elevation and we go into it, and we say we want this to be 9, and then we go and we print it, you can see it's got the shape correct. And then if we go into this, we can tab and we say press 2, and we can just adjust the roof height to whatever you want it to be. And we can print it, and then you can see the roof height has adjusted. It's just like a normal 3D object at that point. So those are the two big things. Bug fixes galore. That's been accelerating bug reports due to the increased popularity and of IFC OpenShell and BlenderBim. It's literally a mountain of bugs to keep up with. We've placed a huge emphasis on fixing and classifying bugs, resulting in net decrease in open bugs for the second time. Very good. Like, I mean, it's insane. I go up there and there's 20 less bugs reported. Dion and the team have been, and everybody on the team, everybody who volunteers and everybody who's contributing is like amazing. They're really pushing it. Despite 160 or so new bug reports, the number of open bugs has gone down by 57 compared to the last release. The impacts of these bug fixes are too numerous to list, but highlights include more intuitive classification assignment, orphaned openings can no longer be created, fixed viewport clippings. That was quite annoying, yeah. I'm glad that's done. Drawings on sheets, a critical bug in drawings where certain objects would appear see-through, a critical bug where viewport annotations don't display on Mac OS anymore. Yeah, really impressive stuff. BCF interface is updated. BCF interface has been completely updated to use the BCF library from the previous release. Similarly, the BCF exports from IFC Clash is now working with the latest BCF library. IFC 4x3 progress, built-in documentation, so that's after IFC 4, that's the next update. Built-in documentation, property set templates, entity type mappings have now been introduced for IFC 4x3. These are critical fundamentals required for those who want to start authoring and editing IFC 4x3 models. Very good. 4D and 5D improvements. Cost schedules can now be exported to CSV, ODS, and XLSS. Tasks in work schedules can now be duplicated. Very good, very helpful. It's really nice to be able to export these kind of things. So much more. Viewing collision results from IFC Clash now supports federated models. Sounds great. New shape utility library for programmatic quantity takeoff for developers. IFC validation of express rule for advanced users are now bundled in with the interface. IFC tester can now output compliance reports in ODS format. Awesome. IFC CSV now supports ODS and XLS. Very good, just like here. IFC FM has been cleaned up a bit to help people adapt to their needs easier. The profile manager has now cross-section thumbnails. Very cool. Material set and material set item properties can now be assigned and edited, improving styling and documentation for all IFC patch recipes and IFC Clash. Just making things easier. A huge thanks to the growing volume of new contributors who are joining the team and changing the industry. You can too. It's really incredible. Things have changed so quickly and it's just getting better and better, and it's gonna get really good soon. Also, a huge thanks to the growing volume of new donors who help raise funds here. So they can just click on that. Thanks to you, we were able to hire a part-time developer, and delivering many of the features you have just read about would not have been possible to do in this time frame without their help. Thank you. So we can go here, and then this is the funding. If you want to donate, please do. It's an amazing program. It's an amazing system, and yeah, the more the better, basically. And then the BlenderBim add-on, just all the changes are listed. You can go through them one by one. Here are the contributors: Dion, Andre, Sigma, Thomas, Massimo, Vukas, Cyril, Christopher, Ryan, Andrea, Einar, Jesus Bull, Lee1506, Martina. It's amazing. Thank you, everybody. This program is amazing, and the updates are insane. It's incredible how much has changed in the last 4 years. I still remember using the 2019 version, which doesn't seem to exist anywhere. And what a difference. So very cool. I'm going to be creating these kind of update videos when the stable releases come out, just as like a break for the tutorials. And I'm just going to do what I did now, which was demonstrate the new features and things like that. But it's not necessarily a tutorial. But yeah, please support the development. Please donate. It's amazing, and it's free. It's open source. It's incredible. It's going to overtake everything soon, really. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.